So how's your RFID experience so far? Got
So far,
problems
so good. I think 90% success rate.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why they...
People stuck in the background.
Okay, never mind. Anyway, Zachary, can you turn on the timer? Alright, so everybody, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, if you've not already guessed, we're going to talk about the RFID toll system in Malaysia. So specifically, we're just going to talk about a little bit what RFID is, but I think a lot of people already know what the system is and what it does. There seems to be a lot of confusion on how you can pay for RFID and what toll companies use RFID. Is that the case?
I think the latest development right now is that Plus Highway is finally supporting RFID.
Okay, so Plus Highway, I don't know, there's like Litra, whatever. So how many highways in Malaysia support RFID? And there was like a debacle between Plus and CIMB,
Yep, the owner of Touch and Go.
which also owns
Touch and Go.
RFID. So obviously there's a lot of confusion, right? Like there are two RFID systems.
Okay, before this there were two RFID systems.
Yeah.
So the first one that's released by Touch and Go.
Hang on,
Yeah.
hang on to that. So those things are going to be covered in today's LTA. So if you are interested to know more about RFID toll system in Malaysia, come and join us and have fun on the show. Okay, now I want Alex to talk about those two RFID system that we just talked about just now. Okay, so can you explain?
Okay, firstly, there's Touch and Go's RFID system. So, as you know, Touch and Go is like the default option when you pay tolls, especially using the physical card. So they took the initiative to introduce RFID, and after a while, Plus Highway, which also uses Touch and Go card, they released their own RFID. They call it Plus RFID. So it's a different system. So the difference is that for Touch and Go, the RFID is tied to the e-wallet, which you all use right now.
Okay.
But for Plus, they're doing it differently. Instead of linking to an e-wallet, it's linked directly to your credit or debit card, or you can actually have it deduct direct from your bank account.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where can the Touch and Go RFID system? Which highway is now using Touch and Go RFID?
I think most highways in the Klang Valley right now, they support Touch and Go's RFID, including some tolls in Johor as well as Penang.
And then, but you cannot use it in Plus Highway?
If you notice right now, Plus actually disabled RFID lanes. You can see all the RFID signs, they're all blacked out.
Okay, so I mean, you're telling me this story and even I'm getting a bit confused. Okay, let's backtrack a bit. Why are there two systems in the first place?
Okay, firstly, Touch and Go is supposed to be the de facto payment system for the highways, but Plus decides that they want to give it a try, so they released their own RFID system, and that actually led to a dispute between the two parties. So if you recall, last year, Touch and Go actually take legal action against Plus because apparently it's against their joint venture agreement because Touch and Go is supposed to be the one that does the payment, not Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So after that whole thing, both of them settled the issue out of court, and recently they make an announcement. So Plus Highway will support Touch and Go RFID moving forward, beginning next year.
Okay, so that means the confusion or the compatibility is no longer an issue lah.
Yeah, it's all clear. So there's only one RFID system.
All right. So so Plus is going to roll out RFID next year. It will start at selected highways, or like will it be all highways? And how does it work? Like, am I able to use my current Touch and Go RFID and my e-wallet and go through a Plus, or is there like something else? Will it be seamless, or from what you know, what can you tell?
Okay, in terms of rollout, so as you mentioned, they're going to be rolled out to selected tolls. So on 1st January, RFID will be supported at 10 tolls that are using the open system. So there's two different systems, open system and closed system. Open system is whereby highways, right, that you pay for tolls when you pass by a certain section of the highway. Like for example, it's very typical in Klang Valley, like LDP, Kasas. You pass through this area, you pay a toll every single time. For closed system, whereby the toll is actually calculated based on where you enter and where you exit, which is something common when you travel interstate. That will be rolled out later in April.
Okay. That
So,
sounds,
yeah.
okay, go ahead.
So open system is on the 1st of January, closed system will be a 1st of April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no joke. And the 10 open toll plazas are, I have the list right here, Kempas at North South Expressway, Perling at Link Kedua, Lima Kedai at Link Kedua, Tanjung Kupang at Link Kedua, Mambau at SPDH, I don't know what that is, Lukut SPDH, Jabatan Pulau Pinang, Lunas BKE, Kumbang Semang BKE, and Jitra NSE. I'll provide the full list in the description down
That
below.
means it's all going to the north lah. Like,
I think it depends because some of them are in Johor, some of them in
there's
Penang.
also okay.
Close.
Well,
Yeah,
I
these are
mean,
open. Yep.
But the coverage is not complete.
It will be completed on 1st April because 1st April it will be supported at all remaining closed toll systems.
And then I remember we discussed like a few days ago. We discussed earlier. There was like an issue with people complaining or blaming Touch and Go for a problem.
Yep.
Like, okay, can you like explain the full story? What was the problem, and why are people complaining? Why are people confused, and why are they blaming Touch and Go for this?
Okay, this all started when Plus decided to stop offering Touch and Go card reloads at all toll plazas beginning on the 5th of November. Because as you know, during the festive season, Touch and Go has disabled Touch and Go reloads at the toll to ease congestion.
Yep.
Because you know, if people are going to line up to pay for toll, that's going to cause a queue, and that can lead to congestion. So, based on their studies, they find that disabling reloads at the toll plazas actually makes traffic more smoother because they don't have a lane that's clogged up just for top-ups. So when they roll it out on 5th of November, our people are not happy, like, oh, this is very inconvenient. And the strange thing is that they blame on Touch and Go.
But they've given ample notice, right?
Yeah, they give ample notice.
And they blame Touch and Go. But it's not Touch and Go's decision?
Yeah, it's actually Plus because Plus decided not to offer a reload, not Touch and Go. Because Touch and Go is the card provider, but...
So basically like Touch and Go is like, okay, if you want a top-up booth, sure, I'll give you a top-up booth. Like you just put in your system, then you can top up lah.
Yep.
Essentially, you can have like a mobile counter also if you want.
Yep.
I guess maybe...
And also for Touch and Go, it's beneficial for them to have more places to top up.
Okay, but okay. So Touch and Go, it's beneficial for them to have more places to top up. But I think I wanna chime in on this where people start blaming Touch and Go. So it's clear that the problem is not Touch and Go.
Yeah.
It's beneficial for Touch and Go to have as many top up places as possible so that people can just top up. The problem is with Plus, but I don't want to blame Plus either because, you know, for us to make this system work right, I think we as road users need to be disciplined also. I think I think Touch and Go has done a good job in making sure that there are a lot of kiosks and places where you can reload.
Yep.
At least like every petrol station you go to, you can top up.
Yep.
At every shopping mall, you can top up. They even have like kiosks. You can even top it up into your IC.
Yep.
I don't see why not having enough credit is a problem anymore for people who use the highway. It's just you need to plan better. You need to like look forward better. You know, it's like Japanese culture. What they believe is that it's always let me be in trouble. Not in trouble. Okay, the Malay word is biar saya yang susah, tapi the society benefits. So let me as an individual hassle myself, or you know, either clean up my own table after a meal, or you know, move aside when somebody needs to use a chair in a seat in the train. Let me hassle myself rather than I trouble other people. I think, and that benefits the society as a whole. So in Malaysia, we know that the toll booths can be a place where it becomes a bottleneck.
Yep.
Especially during peak hours, especially during festive seasons and stuff like that. But we also know that if we all prepare the change earlier, or if we all, you know, have enough money in our cards, that it can help ease the congestion.
Yep.
Okay, so talking about congestion, right? You said that Plus has proof that not having top-up counters on the at the toll booths ease congestion. So can you elaborate on that?
According to Plus, the number of transactions with insufficient balance have reduced from 5% back in 1st of August down to just 1.3% in 6th November, and that's for the central region. And if we look at other areas like the northern region, they have reduced the number of insufficient balances from 9% down to 5% on the 5th of November. So that's a massive drop, and that shows that consumers are better prepared when they enter tolls, so they probably top up before they enter the highway.
Well, I guess a lot of like awareness needs to happen, but I think people are aware. I saw some videos where a couple of people got stuck because their the value in their card is not enough, so they have to like walk all the way across the highway to go to the office near the toll booth and top it up there. Obviously, it's going to like back up all the traffic in that lane, and that becomes a domino effect, and it affects all the other lanes. It becomes a problem. I think I just want to, whoever's watching, let me know, what do you think? Is not having a toll top up stations at the toll booth itself a problem, an issue, or is it actually making traffic flow better? I think for me, I'm like 100% RFID now. I don't use smart tag. I use touch and go if there's no RFID. But I really definitely like the convenience, and because I use it a lot, I make sure that my touch and go is topped up, my wallet is topped up, and I have spare value in my IC just in case I don't have enough. So how do you cope with not having a top-up counter in the toll booth? How do you do it?
For me right now, I'm similar as you. I use RFID most of the time, but if I go out of town, I use my Zing Touch and Go card.
Okay.
So the Zing Touch and Go card, for those who are not aware, is basically a Touch and Go card that's linked to your credit card. So automatically, when the balance reach below 50 ringgit, you top up 100 ringgit automatically.
It will auto top up.
Auto top up.
Where do I get that? I don't even know that.
Oh, you can get it from a couple of banks. Mine was with MBF. Now it's MBank. Maybank's offering that as well. But the thing is that they charge 2 ringgit for every reload.
Oh.
Yeah, but for me, it's fine for the convenience.
Okay, so 2 ringgit for every reload. I guess you save some time lah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys are like really calculative in terms of, okay, I gotta save that 2 ringgit. Then you can, every time you you fuel up, you can just go to the petrol kiosk and top up there. But that's a convenience. Can I apply for Zing online?
I think you need
to go to the bank.
You need to go to the bank. I think you can apply from the bank itself online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go to the bank website, is it?
Yeah, you can try to do that because I did it over the phone back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still running that system,
I think it
because
should
I
be still
remember
available.
you told me about that like a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's still
I think it's still available because I'm still using it until today.
Okay, so speaking about auto top ups, you also say that the RFID experience in Malaysia is not perfect. What do you mean by that?
Okay, the thing is, RFID, right, is actually designed for the multi-lane free flow kind of concept, similar to like Singapore, where there's no gates, so you just drive through without any toll booths whatsoever, similar to Australia in Melbourne, whereby...
But Singapore uses infrared, right? Like smart tag, or does it use RFID?
I believe it should be RFID as well, but there's no barriers in between, so you can just drive through.
Okay.
Yeah, but the difference for Singapore is that their tags are powered.
It has battery.
It's battery, but for Malaysia, it's just a sticker, so it's a bit more passive.
Yeah, so ours is passive. Okay.
Yeah. But the benefit of that is that we don't need to worry about changing batteries and all that. So you just put a sticker and can just drive through.
So the Singapore system is like a basically better smart tag lah, because you have to buy that machine, right? And then you have to put your card there, and then you have to reload your card manually. I don't know whether it's linked to
I'm
an
not
e-wallet.
sure. Yeah, probably it's or something.
So it's a bit of a hassle. Even if you're like on a motorcycle, it's for congestion charging, right? If you're on a motorcycle, you have to have that thing there, and it might get stolen. I don't know.
Yep.
It's a lot of problems lah. The RFID sticker is much better,
Yep.
and it's so much easier to install.
Yeah, but the issue is that because Malaysia, we have legacy systems. We have a traditional toll booth. We have toll booth that accepts touch and go cards, smart tags and all that. So it needs to coexist with the current infrastructure. So in the optimal condition is that there shouldn't be any toll booths, because you can actually have one gantry with 3 RFID scanners, and that tree can pick up all cars passing through the 5-lane road. But because it has to be designed for a single lane, they need to tone down the power. So it's actually reduced. That's why you're not getting good performance, and sometimes you need to drive very close to the boom gate in order to open. So it's actually powered down, it's actually watered down experience. So to see the full potential of RFID, we need to remove all the toll booths.
So essentially, the system that we have, like the RFID that we're using right now, we can basically just drive through the gantry without even slowing down.
Yeah.
It's possible,
It's
right?
possible.
But there are issues.
Legacy issues that we need to sort out first.
Okay. I think for me, the biggest issue is obviously license plate,
Yeah.
and tracking back who uses the car.
without any.
So if there's like a system that a lot of cars that doesn't have RFID, you just pass. It's very difficult to detect.
Yeah, it's like in Australia, for example, like for example, Melbourne, if you drive through I think CityLink, no mistaken, if you have the tag, they will actually deduct from your account. If you don't have the tag, what they do is they actually recognize the plate and try to send the bill to your home. Or you can pay at your nearest 7-Eleven or petrol station because they can check the system how many tolls have you paid and you must settle it within a certain time frame. If you don't pay it, then they'll issue you a summons.
So I guess the whole ecosystem needs to work lah. Because right now there's really no enforcement. Like I guess the worst that they can do is send you a summon, right?
Yeah.
And that summon comes from the police or comes from JPJ?
No mistaken, in Australia, it's like the local road authority. I think like JPJ kind of.
For Malaysia, like if
For Malaysia,
so there's no option, right? Like so I see a lot of videos that people try to like escape paying toll by like following like really closely to people, but essentially there's like no hard rule. Like they're not gonna revoke your license. You still can renew your road tax. You don't get like demerit points, so not really a problem.
I think it's quite loose. So I guess we need more regulation in that aspect.
Yeah, so it's probably like the ecosystem. So Plus can put a law to say that okay, if you don't pay, we're gonna fine you or we're gonna summon you. But if there's no legislative support, like if JPJ is not on board with this, then it's like a long winding process. It's like it's like Indah Water, like Indah Water.
If you don't pay, nothing's gonna happen.
I mean, they can initiate like legal process to recover the funds, but the funds are like 300 ringgit, 500 ringgit at most. It's not worth to pay a lawyer, go through the process of recovery because it costs a lot more. And I think Plus or whatever toll operator will have the same problem.
Yeah, especially imagine if there's no toll gates anymore, pure drive-through, and then they get fines that they are outstanding payment. What's going to happen if they don't pay?
Yeah, and then like the implementation is not perfect. So because it's a tuned down, so you have to like be like really slow. And then some people don't have their wallets topped up. They don't know how this direct pay thing PayDirect thing work. Okay, so maybe you can explain briefly what is the difference between the amount in my wallet, the amount in my card, and when does my wallet take? When does Touch 'n Go take the money from my wallet? When does it take from my card? And what is this PayDirect?
Okay, so PayDirect, in case you didn't know, is a rather new feature by Touch 'n Go. So what that does is, your Touch 'n Go card is now linked to your e-wallet. So that means if you use it on the Touch 'n Go lane and Smart Tag lane, it deducts the credit from the e-wallet. If there's not enough balance on the e-wallet, only then it deducts from the card balance.
Okay.
So with that,
only PayDirect counters, right?
PayDirect supported tolls, which I think mostly are supported in Klang
Most
Valley.
RFID tolls are PayDirect tolls.
Enabled.
Can I assume that? That's correct, right?
I think you can assume that.
All of RFID should be PayDirect.
Yeah.
But sometimes they can be a PayDirect booth, but there's no RFID. Is that possible? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think everyone has. Yeah, I think most of the toll booths are connected to the system. So if there's RFID, it should be supporting PayDirect. But there's a full list on the website.
Okay, so we're gonna drop the full list of PayDirect toll booths and highways in the description. So take a look there. But it's safe to assume that all RFID enabled toll booths are PayDirect enabled as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But there's something you need to know. So PayDirect only works that way. Tap the card, deducts an e-wallet. But if you go into
if you don't have enough balance in your e-wallet,
and if you drive through the RFID lane,
it doesn't take from the card.
Yeah.
So you can have value in the card, but it stays in the card.
Yeah, and that's only usable on the Touch 'n Go lane and Smart Tag lane. So PayDirect is only for the Smart Tag and Touch 'n Go lane. These two only.
Okay.
Yeah. RFID is strictly e-wallet.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing serious. So serious listening in also. So that's must be a very interesting conversation. Okay, I think we are pretty much done with explaining what the issue or what's the scope of RFID toll in Malaysia. RFID was deployed, I think, early last year.
It's actually, they run a test for a couple of years now. but it's open for public testing since September 2018.
So our Rory back there was like one of our first
Guinea pigs.
pilot testers. So he got like an RFID tag immediately when it's available for the public. And we've been hooked on RFID ever since. I got my cars on RFID. I think everybody has. In the crew, in the team, have their cars on RFID. It is obviously a hell of a convenience for people going through tolls. Then I guess the question is, can we avoid tolls? I don't think so, because it's economy. Somebody has to pay for the maintenance of the highway, for the maintenance of the rest stops and everything. Obviously, the road users pay for that. You would argue, hey, we pay for road tax. I don't think that's enough to cover the highways. But I don't agree that tolls should come up every year. The prices should come up every year. But that's like another topic altogether. So coming back to RFID, it's a convenience. But for us to like fully maximize the convenience, obviously the technology needs to catch up lah. Meaning that we have to deploy it properly. There needs to be an ecosystem where there is a strong authority that's backing up the system, so that people who don't pay the toll can be brought to justice or whatever, that you can collect back the unpaid toll amount. Because if not, it will just open like a can worm, like a floodgate of people not paying toll, and we don't want that either.
It's just going to cost highway concessionaires a lot of money.
Yeah, and then we'll probably like have unmaintained highways or whatever. Okay, so but the thing is, I don't agree that we should blame Touch and Go for not having top-up counters at the toll booths. I think I've said this once, and I'm going to say this again. I think Touch and Go is doing like a commendable job. I think we were like super critical on Touch and Go when they first deployed their e-wallet and RFID system. Once again, I think Rory, we called them like the stupidest way to top up your Touch and Go card. They've the app and the experience have improved tremendously. I think in terms of really moving this forward, Touch and Go is commendable, and I'm going to go out and say that. But there are also other things that we can do. I think to like really maximize the RFID experience, right? The technology right now, there are some things that you can optimize to allow you to have a smoother journey. Okay, so what are those things?
Okay, so number one, if you have an RFID tag, right, you can actually forget about topping up manually. What you can do is you can enable auto reloads on your e-wallet. So that way you don't need to worry about top-ups anymore. Everything's done automatically in the background. And secondly is that as a backup, you can actually link your Touch and Go cards to your e-wallet. So that enables PayDirect. So for example, if an RFID doesn't work, so you can just
the counter is closed or whatever.
Yeah, let's say the RFID lane is closed under maintenance, or someone's stuck in the lane, you can always move to another Touch and Go lane and touch your card, and that deducts straight from the e-wallet.
Yeah. And also have a spare card just in case, right? Again, so you're gonna ask me, I gotta pay for the card whatever. Look, you can top up your IC, and then you say, I don't want to drop my IC in the thing, dude. I think it's a problem that you can solve. You don't have to like tell people that they have to solve their problems. I think it's simple enough. It's like I said, like it's for the convenience of everybody, right? Let's just make trouble for ourselves and help each other. All right, okay, so there's also another big elephant in the room. A lot of people are also talking about Touch and Go as a monopoly. So before we discuss about that, right, I think, I've been saying Touch and Go is doing like a good job with the e-wallet and the system and the RFID. There are also certain problems. Obviously, this whole system is not perfect, and they are learning and improving. But I hope they can do it faster. One of the major problems is, and if you do face this problem, one of the major problems is double charging. Sometimes the RFID gantry will open, and you don't know whether you've paid or not. So you stop there for a while, but the gate doesn't close, so you just go and you hope you don't kena saman or whatever, or get charged more extra whatever. So obviously it's a bit clunky, and it could be because of Touch and Go, but it could also be because of the implementation of the RFID itself. Now, what is your RFID experience? How has it been so far? Let us know in the comments below. And if you do have like questions or comments about RFID, you can connect with them directly. There is a RFID close group on Facebook. So if you can search for that. I think we'll have like a link in the description, and you can go in there and chime in your problems and stuff like that. But what I don't like, what's happening in that group is that a lot of people seems to feel a bit elitist when they have RFID. So I see a lot of people posting pictures like, oh, this fella using the wrong toll booth, or they shouldn't use RFID. Only RFID is for RFID users. I don't know, man. I mean, RFID is just a technology. It doesn't mean if you have it on your car, you are better than everybody else. Just use it lah. Sometimes we are also at fault where not having extra top up, whatever. Let's not just be so easily judgmental lah.
And just on top of that, right? I just hope that most RFID users, you give a little bit of space, because, and again, this is not a perfect implementation.
Yeah.
Some things might go wrong. So if you see a car being stuck, don't go so near, don't tutup belakang lah. Giving some space so that the person might go stun or whatever,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think people in general want to make other people's life
difficult.
hassle. So it could genuinely be incidental. But on the flip side, if you are doing it on purpose, if you go into a highway and not check your touch and go card got enough balance or not, then you are a genuine douche, right?
It's like, imagine this, you go to a McDonald's, whatever, you order something and you want to pay, there's no money in the wallet. Yeah. Do you blame Bank Negara? Do you blame Maybank? It's your own fault, right? You need to manage your own balances.
Speaking about McDonald's, right? So if you've been lining up at the McDonald's, right, it's been like 5 minutes, you're standing in line, right? And you're looking at the menu, right? People are waiting, right? So if you go to the front there, and then only you are deciding like, do I want a cheeseburger, or do I want like a... I mean, stop it. Just decide while you are while you're waiting in line, and like quickly decide and let everybody else come through. Again, I guess the big takeaway from here is that, okay, RFID has like a lot of potential, but at the same time, we need to be responsible and make sure that we have enough top-ups and whatever lah. Okay, now I'm going to come back to, is touch and go a monopoly? What do you have to say for that, on that?
I guess it's perceived as a monopoly because back then, right, if you call in a client way, there are multiple payments, and then I think there was a decision made that, let's simplify the whole thing, because this highway got this system, this highway got this system, so they end up with touch and go and smart tag. But if you look at the current situation right now, Touch and Go and the parent company CIMB and Plus have announced that they're going to come up with an open system. So what that means is that if you're going to use RFID, you're not limited to just Touch and Go e-wallet, because I know some of you don't like to have another e-wallet to maintain. So with the open system, you can link the RFID tag to your bank account, your credit card, and your debit card. So you have a lot of options out there. So if you link to your cards, right, don't need to worry about reloads.
I think it wasn't a monopoly. No, it's not. Like anybody can come up with
a new technology,
a tap and go. That what's it called? NFC payment, right?
Yep.
Anybody can do that. Visa and Mastercard have NFC. If you have enough of like financial backing and you want to come up with like a NFC payment system from scratch to fight touch and go, and you think you have enough of a unique selling point, go ahead. It's not a monopoly by design, but it's a monopoly because they are just like so strong, I think. But okay, so you also mentioned that there are other things that we want to talk about, like what open system payment to look forward to.
Oh yeah, so going back to the Plus Highway. So Plus Highway, as I mentioned earlier, beginning of 1st of January, it will be available. It will support RFID beginning 1st of January for the open system tolls. So the 10 is only available on the 10 toll booths, and the remaining will be supported on the 1st of April 2020. Sorry.
1st of April? Next year lah.
Next year, yeah. Okay. So, okay, open toll 1st of January, closed toll April 2020. But for PayDirect, it's going to be supported a bit later. So that's going to come in sometime mid of 2020.
Okay, so if you're confused with the terms and all that, right? So essentially, by 1st of January, you'll see more highways supporting RFID, right?
Yep, on the open tolls first.
Yeah, open tolls.
And then the entire Plus Highway will be supporting it on April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then after that, you get PayDirect.
PayDirect.
Probably after the first quarter of next year.
Yeah, probably second half. So that means you use your smart tag and your touch and go card, you can link it to e-wallet. So you don't need to worry about top up if you enable auto reload.
Okay, so I guess that's pretty much it. We've covered pretty much everything, right?
Yep.
With regards to RFID. If we haven't, please put them in the comment section. If you have any questions or suggestions, we'll be more than happy to answer them. We also had like a really in-depth discussion on e-wallets. I think that was one of the more popular Let's Talk About shows. So if you want to check out our show on e-wallets, link in the description below and have a discussion there as well. We are also available in our Facebook group, RKMD. If you haven't joined the group, come and join us in RKMD. I'm always around, so you can just look for me there. Alex is there sometimes, so you can look for him there as well. If you need recommendations or have questions or you need suggestions on e-wallets, devices, tablets, smartwatches, just let us know in that group. Okay, that's pretty much it. So the takeaway from here is that RFID is a really great technology. It has a lot of potential, but the ecosystem is not mature enough to support the full potential of the technology. Most of the time, the problems are caused by the users rather than the system itself.
Yeah, so legacy issues that they need to address.
Yeah, even like the number plate, right?
Yes.
For license plate recognition and stuff like that. Those needs to be fixed for us to be able to enjoy RFID to the fullest. And that requires the support of the government, the
Highway
law,
operators.
the highway operators, like in general, and also us to make this happen, right? If we demand for it, I'm sure Plus and Touch and Go and CIMB there is a huge demand for this, because the ramp up in users after the first pilot to an open pilot is massive. So I think everybody would agree that RFID is the future, but there still needs a lot of work for this to happen. And beyond that, I hope that we'll be able to enjoy the technology to the fullest.
Yep.
Yeah. Anything you want to add?
So I look forward to the day whereby there's no more, gates of the toll booth. It's just an open, multi-lane, free-flow concept.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any comments, suggestions, whatever, please put them in the comment section below. We're more than happy to hear them. We again enjoy, thrive, love your feedback. So let us know what would you like us to talk about in future episodes of the show, and how we can improve our series as we move on. Okay, so once again, thank you very much for watching. This is Amin.
This is Alex.
And Let's Talk About. Catch you guys later.
Bye.